I want to thank everybody for joining us today virtually, including California's outstanding governor, Gavin Newsom, who went out to help with a recall, and he won in spite of me again. But along with leaders from industry and labor and local communities, each of whom we're going to hear from shortly. And here at the White House with Jennifer Granholm, our former governor and energy secretary, Gina McCarthy, the National Climate Advisor, and Kathleen Hicks, the Deputy Secretary of Defense. And we're here to make an announcement that sounds a little complex on the surface, but really it's about something quite simple. It's all about the belief we share that to build a truly strong economy, we need a future that's made in America. Almost exactly a year ago, I issued an executive order to prioritize strengthening our domestic supply chain. Because what I found out was that, if I was going to follow through on my commitment to say we were going to make it in America and build it in America and have all of it built in America, we needed a supply chain that was reliable and including critical materials like lithium, graphite, rare earth materials, which are badly needed for so many American products, but we're so much and we were in some desperate need of. These minerals power phones and computers, household appliances, electric vehicles, and batteries, solar panels, wind turbines, and so much more. Without these minerals, we simply cannot function. They can't function. And we expect the demand for them to increase by 400 to 600% over the next several decades. And up to now, we've had to import a significant portion of them, close to 100% importation from other countries, particularly China, Australia, and Chile. And when I signed the executive order last year, I was determined to change that. And we've seen what happens when we become dependent on other countries for essential goods, like computer chips. Everyone's become aware of that. Because the computer chips are so badly needed. Why did the cost of automobiles skyrocket and become about a third of the reason for an increase in inflation? Is because they didn't have the computer chips. You can't build an automobile today without those chips, as well as personal protective equipment and so much more. And when it comes to clean energy, China has spent several years cornering the market on many of the materials that power the technologies that we rely on. That's why I committed us to build a clean energy supply chain stamped Made in America. And Made in America means using products, parts, and materials, as well as minerals, right here that are in the United States of America we get. It means betting on American workers. And it takes a federal government that doesn't just give up lip service to buying America, but actually takes action. My economic strategy, building from the bottom up and the middle out, is why in my first year as president, we had the greatest year ever in job growth in American history. 6.6 million jobs. Faster economic growth the fastest in nearly 4 decades. And that's why America added 375 manufacturing jobs last year, the highest increase in nearly 30 years. And that's why we've seen major announcements in recent weeks from companies like Intel, General Motors, Union Pacific Railroad, and more, building new facilities here in America, investing in American workers and buying American products and paying prevailing wages, Tom. Prevailing wages, a union wage. They created tens of thousands of good-paying jobs in Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, all across the country. And today, we're announcing a new effort that's going to help us, in my view, keep that drumbeat for good-paying jobs, strengthen our national economic security, and ensure that we can continue to build a future that's made in America in a way that lives up to our values. So we're announcing a major investment in domestic production of key minerals and materials. Today, as I mentioned, China controls most of the global market in these minerals. And the fact that we can't build a future that's made in America if we ourselves are dependent on China for the materials that power the products of today and tomorrow. And this is not anti-China or anti-anything else, it's pro-American. That's why I'm taking action. Through the Department of Defense, and I have a Deputy Secretary to my, there you go, I thought to my right, the governor's to my the Deputy Secretary is here. We're investing $35 million in MP Materials, currently America's only rare earth mining and processing operation, to help create a fully domestic supply chain for the magnets that power electric vehicle motors, wind turbines, and so much more. We know that when the federal government invests in innovation, it powers up the private sector to do what they do best. And that's what we're seeing happen. MP Materials is announcing a $700 million investment in the magnet supply chain, creating 350 good-paying jobs. Berkshire Hathaway Energy Renewables is breaking ground for a new facility this spring in your state. I know Gavin knows more about this than I do, but in California, to test the new process to pull lithium, which is used for batteries, for phones, for cars, for underground sources in California, Imperial Valley, in a way that's environmentally sustainable. And last week, Redwood Materials announced a partnership with Ford and Volvo to recycle lithium-ion batteries, so you'll be able to produce more of those batteries, taking out the minerals and reprocessing them so they can be used to power electric vehicles, reducing the need for new mining. And that's just the beginning, in my view. These new investments are going to do more than create good-paying jobs. They're also going to set America up to lead the world in building a clean energy economy and a clean energy future. As we build the economy, we're going to build it around working Americans. That means making sure that labor is at the table, the tribes and the people from the community are at the table from day one, and that environmental protections are paramount. We have to ensure that these resources actually benefit folks in the communities where they live, not just the shareholders. And that's going to create good-paying union jobs. And that produces more sustainability. You know, so we can avoid the historical injustices that too many mining operations left behind in American towns. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania, used to be an anthracite coal mining. Mining is mining, but there's all kinds of it. And that's why working to modernize America's mining laws and regulations, some of which are 150 years old. That's why I've asked the Secretary of Energy, Governor Granholm, Secretary Granholm, but you're my governor, former governor, to visit the Imperial Valley in California and hear directly from local residents how this will impact on them. I know everybody's excited about the opportunity ahead. So with that, we're going